Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman from the DC camp, Branch of Great Millstone, back for another video. Call all Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kwadash. Of course, double honor squad to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to send salutations out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways weekly. And also hit up the internet and other social media, to include other social media venues with lots of videos spreading the truth out. All right. This is the copyright disclaimer, section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that may otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. I just use it to do what is mentioned in the disclaimer. All right. So what we have here is when you hear this expression, the golden age, we want to make America great again. All that has an underlying meaning. We're going to find out what that is. This is Tabitha Speaks Politics, and every now and then I'll listen to what she has to say. This is a good one, however, so let's get started. Oh, Salakia. Mm. But why only them? Nope. Yeah, for you, um, Jake MAGA pieces of shit, but here it is. All right. There you go. Let's go to the top. Now, what condition were we in? Same argument we make with the Constitution for you all that really believe in that bullshit. It was not meant. You gotta think of everything that happened after that. All right. Well, including during that, but I'm talking about as far as the legislation that was passed and everything like that. They did not have our best intentions uh, um, at heart. Okay. But like she's saying, it refers to a period of great prosperity, peace, cultural achievements, and this is Chat GPT, uh, or excellence within a particular field, country, or era. Um, when you ask what is the golden age for era, it is a bit ambiguous, but here are a few interpretations and explanations. All right. It's the peak or most flourishing time in civilization, art form, science, or philosophy. Athens, and it's curious. I mean, it's it's fitting that they put Greece up here because these are the same people. And Rome, all right, that we're still dealing with, the revived Roman Empire, all its philosophies and, you know, all the wickedness included. All right, and there it goes, drama and democracy. That old democracy. And then it gets into Islam golden age. All right, and Hollywood and etc. Let's see, specific area, Renaissance. Another interesting thing, because this is when these devils got back into power, actually, like it says 15th, 16th century. Yeah, maybe close to 100 years off, but that's okay. This is that period when you go to Revelation, 20th chapter, all right, because it skips 1 through, I think it's 3, then 4 through 6, and then 7 on down, all right. So just, that little season, all right, that's what we're in now, all right. And this devil was set loose to deceive the nations, and he's done a hell of a job. All right. And that's about that on that, but let's let her continue. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't understand that's part of the curses. All right. They're not doing anything that they haven't been set up to do. This is because she's right. They put their own spin on the scriptures in order to accomplish what they accomplished. But again, this is Psalms 50. Let's go on down. It says, the Most High himself is the judge. Let's go down to 16. This is what they did. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? And that's what he did. He lied. Remember, I referenced Revelation 20th chapter. All right. And again, you got to be careful with that because there's time period skips. All right. And if you're not careful. All right. So, yes, we're in that season where he was allowed to deceive the whole world. And he did. He took the covenant that was between us and the Most High. And he says, no, it's about him. If there is a Most High in the heavenly host, They look like him. So this is what you get. It says, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Oh, does it? Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And that's what he has done. All right. 21. These things hast thou done. When you go to Obadiah, it tells you why. All right. These things are going to happen to him that are coming. All right. Because of violence against his brother Jacob. All right. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And that's happening now. All right. And you're seeing their response. It's like they're trying to upset the prophecies. They're getting rid of all these Jakes, which they let in. I'm talking about Northern Kingdom. And you know that prophecy about when Jake, and you know, we were just covering Ezekiel 37 chapter, when the northern and southern kings start coming back together, and you have Jake and Ephraim, or Judah and Ephraim, all right, coming together. Seems like he's trying to upset the prophecies once again. All right. Again, he's going to set, and he is setting us in order before thine eyes. All right. And there's nothing really he can do about it. Nothing at all. All right. But what did they do with us? All right. If you remember the Willie Lynch letter, and you know, our whole family structure and was and still is under attack. All right. Why? You have to ask yourself these questions. Why? All right. Why is the so-called black woman considered the head of a household? How did this come about? You know, there was an ad several years ago. I think it was Target. They got in a little trouble about it, where they showed these, and it was an advertisement they had, where they had, you know, different families, you know, and all of them had father, mother, children, except guess who down at the bottom? The so-called black woman by herself with the children. Yeah. Then they make mockery of it. They put these statues up of so-called black woman with her hands on her hips, and it's in several cities around the world. Now, why do you think that was? But see, that also goes back to that mammy caricature. Hands on the hips, full of sass. All right. Back to the video. Well, they are, but not in the way that she would probably understand. They are the wicked. They were chosen, all right, for that. And it says, and again, when you go to the scriptures, when you go to, again, we're in Psalms, let's stay there, and go to 17. All right, it says, in the shadow of your wings, and we come down to here. What does it say? Verse 13. It says, arise, O Most High Yahweh, that's Lord in all caps. Disappoint him. Who's the him? All right, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So he's just the whipping stick of the Most High for us. He's the lowest of the low. All right. See, what they've done is lied and put themselves up on the pedestal because they were exactly that all throughout history until they got, you know, starting with when they took over what is now known as, the Greek Empire, but it was the Macedonians. All right, those people before these savages drove them out, those weren't the original peoples. They are Edom. All right, when Alexander the Great, that's when they started to rule on such a scale. All right, and then you had that period where they merged and became the Greco-Romans, and then the Romans, and then they were brought down, especially after the pagan Roman Empire. And a lot of people don't realize that there were two different empires as far as Rome goes. You had the pagan, which was chiefly ruled by Edom, so-called white man, and then you had when Jake got up in there from around after the who was it? Domitian. Domitian was the last of the which one? Hold on. Crap. Let's see. Just one moment here. Hold on. My memory fails me. All right. The Flavian dynasty. All right. And that was Vespasian, Titus, and then Domitian. All right. And then you had the 5 so-called good emperors. All right. That's when Jake started. All right. Pretty much culminated with but in any case, then began that roughly 1,000-year period where they were shut up, and they went, the wild men of Europe, another name for it is woodwose, all one word, and they were in that lowest state. All right, that's why they don't like to talk about the so-called Dark Ages. All right, because they know we were putting foot to ass, their ass. All right. Yeah, like we always say, it manifests destiny, but they didn't read the fine print. There's more to it. There's a second half of that. And this is, why did I go there? This is Job 9 and 24. These are, the easy ones here. And it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, it's more about us than them. And what I mean by that is we're the ones that went off. All right. Again, we're under the curses. We're the ones that are being, or an attempt is being made to correct us. And why is that? I'll get the scriptures after this. It said, He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? See, here's the thing you got to ask yourself. They're getting away with all this. All right. Why is that? This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. It says, Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. All right? Because it says the Most High is long suffering, right? But, again, and when you go into Hebrews 12th chapter, 6, starting at around 6. Hold on there. Again, it tells you, it says, For whom the Most High loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. All right? So, if you're going, seems like nothing's ever happened to you, you get the best of everything, again, that goes back to his blessing in Genesis 27, starting at 38 through 41. All right? He was set up, all right, to have the sword as his blessing. And by that, he would get the best of everything. All right? But it's not because he's good. No, far from it. Like I said, he was set up to be the wicked. All right? All right? It says, But for whom the Most High loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? Aha! But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards, and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, another thing they took away from us. All right? Yeah, man can't be in the household. If he want these benefits, he got to go. And as a result, you know what happened? And we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure. Talking about the physical, the head of the household, their own pleasure. But he, talking about the Most High, for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. And then when you go into First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, hold on. Let's see. Start around 12. Let's see. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. Our nation, that's the important thing. Not everybody on the planet Earth. It's talking about for a specific people. For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, as in the so-called white man and these others, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us, lest that being come to the heights of sin afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And therefore, for those of you that said that Israel was done away with, I'm talking about the true nation of Israel. All right, it says, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. Which Paul reiterates, all right, in Romans 11th chapter. All right. It says, but let this that we had spoken be for a warning unto us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. All right. So that's what's going on. This is an attempt. I'm sure she doesn't know this. because the way this uh, devil has deceived everyone. He's got these people that are set up in these churches really to deceive Jake. That was the whole point. And these people, the lies are falling apart as far as them, just because they're over there in that land, and they've proven uh, the last year and a half now, a little bit more, that uh, no, those are not the people. All right, and everybody's sick of them, so they have to move now. They're trying to get it set up to where it is like in Europe. If you say anything against them, you can be fined and jailed, or both, in prison. All right, and that's what they're trying to get over here. And you had this incident lately here in D.C. where these two were murdered. All right, and if you understand what's really going on, you know that these people do shit like this, all right, to try to get their way, to win over the people, to win over the hearts and minds. This is what they do. But more and more people, thankfully, are waking up. I mean, the ones that have influence in this world, wicked as it is. And but it's way too late. For reasons of their own, they decided for the longest time to play along with that bullshit. And now these people have, they run the United States. They're involved in choosing politicians here, raising, and it's not like it's hidden anymore. It's in plain sight. They're not even trying to hide it. Like, what are you gonna do? Exactly. Now, when when she talked about manifest destiny, right? It never stopped. That's what she's actually trying to say. It never stopped. But you just want to you want Canada and you want Greenland? Like, wow. And we told you on several occasions that the 50s was that high point. All right. Exactly. For you boneheads out there. There you go. Mm-hmm. And a lot of you so anxious to go into those voting booths and you have no idea what's really going on. The Heritage Foundation is an American conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., where I am, founded in 1973. It took a leading role in the conservative movement in the 80s during the presidency of Ronald Reagan, whose policies were taken from Heritage Foundation studies, including its mandate for leadership. All right. Mm-hmm. The Heritage Foundation has had significant influence in U.S. public policy making and has historically been ranked among the most influential public policy organizations in the United States. In 2010, it founded a sister organization, Heritage Action, an influential activist force in conservative and Republican politics, because all these people want to go back to, as it's going to see here in the next paragraph, is the good old days. Heritage leads Project 2025, also known as the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, and he told you, your current president, when questioned last year, that he didn't know anything about this. And you all believed him. An extensive plan that includes appointing ideologically aligned civil servants, restricting abortion access, opposing LGBTQ rights, and that's going on right now because he's supposed to put the smack down on this shit, and this uh, what is it? This Pride Month started 2 weeks early this time. All right, transforming federal agencies for political purposes, which is what he's doing, right? And imposing strict immigration policies. Duh. Wow. Seven mountains. Oh, what does that remind you of? The seven mountains? Let's get that. The hills of Rome, right? Ancient Rome. Remember, I said earlier, this is a revived Roman Empire. The Seven Mountain Mandate, also Seven Mountains Mandate, 7M, 7MM, or Seven Mountains Dominionism, is a dominionist conservative Christian movement within evangelical Christianity, particularly independent charismatic groups. It holds that there are 7 aspects of society believers seek to dominate: family, religion, education, media, arts and entertainment, business, and government. All right. 75. All right. And the Heritage Foundation was founded in 73, right? All right. I'll put this in the movement was generally supportive of the presidency of Donald Trump, with member Paula White becoming Trump's spiritual advisor. In 2020, Charlie Kirk said, "Finally, we have a president that understands the 7 mountains of cultural influence," during a speech at the Conservative Political Action Conference. Oh boy. There you go. Y'all didn't want to listen. Because the scriptures tell you all along who your enemy has always been. But see, you go to these churches, which they heavily influence, by the way, these same people we're talking about here. All right. Because they have a 501c or C3, excuse me, charter, and it limits you to what you can teach. You might as well just say that you can't teach the truth, because evidently that's why you people are still in those churches, because you believe this, the Most High loves everybody doctrine. All right. But at the end of the day, you're where you're supposed to be, because that's where the Most High wanted you. He didn't want you to understand. And let's go to Isaiah, because again, we're under these curses, right? Let's go to Isaiah 6. And this is from earlier on. All right. It says, and he said, "Go tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not." And that's you people in these churches. That goes into Romans. You have a zeal, but not according to knowledge. It says, "And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. He does not want you. You're in a deep sleep because the Most High wants it that way. Well, that's their God. That's not the son of the God of the Hebrews. That is Yahweh Shai. The Most High is Yahweh. All right, that's something they gave our people. And when you go into this guy, which I'm about to bring up, remember I mentioned Willie Lynch earlier. Well, when you study this guy, the Reverend, let's see, Dr. Charles, sometime this is hyphenated, Colcock Jones, whereas Willie Lynch was the making of a Negro slave. This is considered Willie Lynch too. It's the making of a Negro Christian slave. All right, and he, even after he passed away, this piece of shit, his family continued on, in his writings. I get most of I check here first for my books instead of buying them. This is where I go, and usually they have a PDF. All right, you can see right here they do. The religious instruction of the Negroes in the United States, and that's exactly what he did. And that's because if you remember the movie Nate Parker, Birth of a Nation, there's examples of this along with the history books too, where he got a lot of his information, where they would in those religious meetings, they would have one of theirs as a monitor. All right, and you have to ask yourself, with all of you all's education as you claim to be, why is Nat Turner and others in that era, all right, see what you don't? All right, again, the Spirit has to be working with you. It was just the wrong time with him. All right. He did what he was put on this earth to do, along with others of that era. All right, leading those slave revolts. It was not time. All right. Which is proof that you can do the right thing, but at the wrong time. So the end result is the same, hey. But yeah, if you want to download this, you can. I encourage you to go into it, because again, they have lied and manipulated through using something that's ours against us. Well, we don't care about those anyway, because that's all pagan. That's all bullshit. They accomplished what they accomplished, and it's the reason they used the Bible, which I don't know, she doesn't quite get that, but it's the reason they chose to be the Jews. All right, there's a reason why the Catholic Church is set up, and it's set up on what? The Scriptures. However, they pervert it, and Catholicism as itself, there's nothing universal about our Scriptures. So again, all that other Islam and all that comes out of the Catholic Church anyway, when you go into the history. All right. So I'm going to stop. The points have been made. for time's sake, it's only, let's see, like 7.5 minutes left, something like that. And I'll put the link to this. You can watch the rest of it. But the points have been made. Um, again, you all didn't want to listen, and everything's been right in front of you. You know, your, what was it called, eyes wide shut. Um, but that's the problem with Jake. You don't want to believe in the scriptures on that too. See, everything is in the scriptures. You know, you don't want to believe your own, but the enemy comes up and would tell you the same thing, you'd be all over it. All right, it's, you know, hey, it is what it is, right? Hey, so with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.